Hello, and welcome to Introducing Me. I'm your host, Sarah. I started this podcast to get to know other people and lifestyles while discovering more about myself. Each episode, I will give a new guest a chance to discuss their background, culture, interests, or whatever they want to talk about to help increase all of our own worldviews. Today, I would like to introduce you to Anne. She has alopecia, and at first, she started hiding through her changes that she was going through. But now she's empowered and is helping others who have the same condition. So there's so much that Anne has gone through, and she's got a lot to share today. So I'm grateful for her to be here. She also lives in Finland. So we were chatting a little bit about geography and culture before we hit record. So I'm very happy to have Anne here today. Thank you so much, Anne. Why don't you go ahead and tell the audience more about you and your story?
Oh, thank you, Sarah. So lovely for you to have me here. I can't wait to share a bit more about my story. Such a lovely intro. Thank you. I was actually, I'm from Finland. I was born and raised in a small town here in southern Finland, which is in Northern Europe. I've always been curious about the world. I've always been so eager to just see the world. So when I was 19, I left my small town. This was like 25 years ago, and moved to Paris. Lived there for a couple of years and worked as an au pair. And then a few years later, returned to Finland to studying, and then was ready to explore the world again. And I moved to England. And at the age of 25, when I moved to England, a year later, I actually started losing my hair, and it was due to alopecia. And it's been a tough journey of almost 20 years, yes, and I think the hardest bit has been the fact that I've been hiding for such a long time, and now within past couple of years, I've been doing the work, and now I'm in a place which is such a beautiful place where I can openly share my story and help others who are struggling with alopecia.
Yeah, so definitely you've had, an adventurous young adulthood into kind of then this bit of hiding with changes in your life going on. Do you want to start just a little bit about culture and, these different places you lived, what it was like being an au pair, and then we'll kind of get into what it was like when you first started losing your hair?
Yeah, I think since I was young child, I was so curious about different cultures, and because I lived in such a small town, there's not a lot happening. So as soon as I could, I wanted to adventure out, and the only option was because I come from a working class family, so we didn't have any money. I'd never been abroad before I was 19. So I decided, and when I think about it, I don't recall why did I decide on Paris. I'd been studying English language for 10, 11 years, but French only 2 years, and I thought, okay, let's go to France. And what I've noticed since then, when you look back, I always love to double challenge myself. If I challenge myself, I like to kind of double it. So I think this was my mindset back then already. So, okay, let's go to Paris. Didn't know anything. It was, year was 97. So there was no social media. There was nothing, internet or nothing. So you just kind of head to this big city and hope for the best. And yeah, it was a huge adventure, lots of fun stuff, but lots of challenges as well. But I learned a lot, and it was like the first kind of growth spurs. Do you say spurs? In my life. And then I came back to Finland, did my degree, and then I was kind of ready. Okay, I've been in Finland for 4 years now. I'm ready to explore again. So I moved to England with one suitcase, and I'm quite sure I only had 200 euros. And I was dating this guy that I met here in Finland, British guy, and we then kind of returned together. So lived in with his mom like for 6 months and so on. And then we started building our life there from scratch, like had no jobs, nothing. So huge challenge. And this is where I can see that even if I'm always been so eager to take on challenges and start fresh and really jump into the deep end. And maybe my body has not always kind of been with me, because after a year I moved into England. Of course, the stress of everything, new culture, no friends. I've always been so independent, and suddenly I had to depend on somebody. I didn't have any friends. I didn't have a home. I didn't have a job. I think the stress that was, too much. And then we also like kind of broke up like a year later. So when I moved in, so that's when my alopecia started. I started losing my hair, and the most painful part was that because it was your hair, I went to see a doctor, and the doctor was just kind of, I'm just trying to figure out the word, kind of like belittling. Is it belittling? Like the problem? I was panicking because I was having massive bald patches already then, and I was really panicking that I didn't have control over my body, and I felt so helpless about it. And then the doctor was really belittling it, saying that it's kind of just hair, and there's really nothing they can do about it. And also he was wondering, like, why haven't you shaved it all off? And there was me, like, just trying to hold on to the last little bits of it because I wasn't ready to let go. And that all went on for 4 years, that I had to kind of try everything from Chinese medicine to acupuncture to lotions to scarves, masking things like makeup stuff that you put on your scalp, and just trying to hide it. So the hiding started as soon as it kind of appeared. Of course, I told my family over in Finland, and maybe I think I told my best friend, but that's it. I didn't tell anybody else. I was kind of just trying to figure it out on my own, like I've always done all my life. I just have to fix this. And then after 4 years, it got so bad, so I had to have my first wig, and that was it was awful, because back then, we were talking about 15 years ago, the wigs were quite bad, like really bad, and it's quite traumatic to go and try on your first wig, because you have to look at yourself in the mirror and see your hair loss and come to terms with the fact that, okay, there's no going back now. This is it. And then also the fact that now I'm going to wear a wig, and for me, I looked even more ill because, wig, cancer, you just always kind of relate to wig to something, the big C, the serious C. And and I think then again, there was a massive turning point for me, that I got my first wig. My ex-partner was there with me. And then the first time I had to go to work wearing this wig, he said to me in the morning, he said, "Don't tell anybody." And I was like, oh my God, like I had been hiding for so many years, and I didn't have any options other than just go to work. And because I've always been so, I wouldn't just stay home and give up. I just have to keep on going, just push through it. And also I realized it's so contradicting that I was so open and honest and friendly, and I would tell anybody about everything about my life. But then I had this massive thing on my head and I couldn't say anything. And that was it, like the anxiety, the shame, always feeling a less than, because I was kind of I saw myself that people saw me as I wasn't capable of doing things because I was ill. And of course, alopecia is a skin illness, skin disease. So it is you lose your hair, but it doesn't affect your capabilities of to work or function. Of course, mentally it's very hard to go through it. But all that time, then for the next 16 years, so altogether 20 years, and yeah, I just didn't talk about it. I didn't tell anybody how hard it is, like for me to pretend that I'm okay, and I actually wasn't okay. And I think there's so many of us because we are women, and especially for women, of course for men as well, it is tough, but especially for women because hair is it is such a big part of our identity. And talking about a bald woman, it's kind of, I think those two words together, it's of course now we're living in a different times, which is great because now we can put those two words together. And this is why I'm talking and sharing my story, because it's so important that we can put those two words together. But it's even been such a long journey for me to come to terms with my boldness and yeah, and now wanting to do my bits that nobody would be feeling the way that I did for almost 20 years.
Right. Now, you just talked right there about the baldness, about, there is a difference in like if men go bald, it's just kind of like, oh, it just happens. Whereas even when women start graying at a younger age, it's like, oh my gosh, what's happening? And you had that male doctor early on say, why don't you just shave it off? So when did you first decide to shave it off?
It was a couple of years after I had my wig. I was still wearing those little bits of my hair, like there was only like those patches, few patches. Probably on like 2-3 years into wearing a wig, because still when I took my wig off, I still had something left. And I can still remember, and this is quite common that when I've been talking to other alopecians, that when I shaved it all off, I saved a little bit into a little box that it would be my that I would kind of like just to keep it close that this was my hair. So I think, yeah, quite often I've heard that other people do that as well. So yeah, that's when it was all gone. And of course then it's the bold image that you can see in the mirror. And I think that's the toughest part. But then, it starts to get easier.
And so then because it's a skin disease, since it's now shaved off, does that mean like nothing will ever grow back?
No, it doesn't mean that. And that's why it's such a unpredictable illness, because you can have some growth and then you have some hope and then it all goes again. And then you have something else. Like, for example, now I have my eyelashes just came back. First, like just one eye on the top, then a little bit on the other one. And now, like in the past couple of months, I had my lashes down below, and that's the most exciting thing for us, to have eyelashes, because that is the hardest bit to let go. Of course, that totally changes, of course, your features and eyebrows as well. But those are quite easy nowadays. You can have microblading or eyebrow transfers or something. But the eyelashes are the toughest bit. But yeah, it comes and goes, and nobody knows why.
Yeah, definitely, to have something that's so unpredictable and so like, people look in the mirror. It's kind of part of life to then have that change and for it to be so dramatic. I think a lot of when people change, as you get older, as you lose weight, like things or gain weight, like things can be gradual, that it's like you don't realize, and like the people around you might not realize, but this is so different that it's like all of a sudden it was happening, you didn't know what was happening. So now, you've got wigs have improved in the last 20 years, which is great. Do you find yourself that you're always wearing a wig? Do you sometimes embrace the bald head?
Yeah, wigs have improved just in the last couple of years. It's so amazing that now we can get access. Of course, celebrities and other people who have more money in the past, they've been able to access these really nice wigs. But only in a couple of years, this was a massive game changer for me when I 2 years ago when I had this wig. And that was the first time when my illness was invisible because it was so realistic, and that's when I was ready to talk about my alopecia. It's kind of taking back that control. That not like if I meet people, they have the control to notice my illness, and then I have to figure out like what they're thinking. Should I tell them? How should I tell them? What will they think? Will they feel sorry for me? All those kind of thoughts is very burdening on your mental health. But now, like it was like, okay, they can't see it, and of course, this is we don't know. Do people know this or not? Because we get so fixated about the fact that we just look at people's hair all the time because we would love to have hair. So do get a little bit a lot paranoid about it. But I think the wig finding your finding a wig that is you, that is part of you, is your identity, is so that you can look in the mirror and say, okay, this is me, and I have the control. I have the control about when I tell people about my illness, because lots of us, we have different challenges in our lives, and we have the choice if we tell, I have diabetes or I have this or that, and they're not showing up. But when you have a skin disease, it's so different, because whether it's acne or psoriasis or, something like that, because we communicate with our face, it's so important to us how we look. So yeah, the wig was a game changer, and it's great that we now have access to these. And I'm on a massive mission here in Finland because we don't actually have this here yet. So I'm on a mission that we're going to get these here. And so what I'm then how I'm going to be able to help all my people, my alopecians, is that I can give them the beauty inside out, the beauty, the mental well-being, as well as all the, the wig, eyelashes, eyebrow transfers, so that, we can put together the face that we want, which is all, unique, all wigs are tailor-made and invisible. So that's when you get your power back. And I think this is a combination that is so important for us, especially like now. I've only realized that I didn't have a face for 20 years because I didn't want to look in a mirror. I didn't see me because I only saw my bald head or my bad wig, and that's who I was. And now, I have a face, and now I have a voice as well, because I never spoke about it. So this is what I want to give to everybody, so that they would have a face and a voice, no more hiding. And this is my big mission in this world.
And so then getting into kind of like the technical, what is the maintenance over a good wig?
Yeah, good question. The maintenance. It is. You should wash it every 10 times you've used it, so that you don't have to wash it all the time. But you should have a gym wig as well, when you go to the gym or doing sports, so that's the smelly one, and a bit of a lesser quality one, because it gets very easily damaged. And then of course you have the better wig, and then you have a wig that is, you probably already put an order in so that you can receive it. This is how it's kind of been working here in Finland, because it takes like 4 to 6 months to get a wig. But it's going to change because I'm going to change it. But and then because like my wig, there's there's the real hair wigs, and then there's the ones that are. Now I'm trying to think of the English word. Why can't I? It's not artificial. What is it called?
I think artificial would be appropriate.
Like a fake, fake hair. No. Anyway, with the real hair one, they last about year and a half, and you can style them as you would style the normal hair. With the other one, it's a bit more trickier because they only last 2 to 3 months, like good, because after like a couple of uses, they already stiffen up. And if you ever had tried some kind of wig or anything, like if you've been dressed up or something for fancy dress or something, that's the quality, and it's a little bit better maybe in these ones, but it's not really. I don't understand why the quality of those synthetic wigs hasn't improved over the years with all the technology and innovation. It still is that, of course, they are cheaper, which is great, but they don't last that long. And with the real hair, more expensive, we end up spending a lot of our own money just to manage to be able to go to work and go through the door and look like a human in a sense. And I think when it comes to leaving the house bald, as a bald woman, I wouldn't do that because that's not me. That is me with certain people. That's me when I'm talking about this and when I'm wanting to empower others to do and show up as they want. When I'm with alopecians or when I've been on a photo shoot or on my website, or when I'm connecting with people who need to learn about this illness. But if I'm just doing my normal life, I don't want that attention. And also the other thing, I get really cold. It's very cold when you don't wear a wig because you don't have hair. Even during the night, I wear a hoodie or sometimes a beanie, especially in the winter, because there's no hair. So it's just like, it's very cold. And then I have no hair on my body either. So we do have to keep warm. So I think those are the kind of practical things that I would say about wearing wigs or not wearing.
Yeah, the practicality of keeping warm and hair just like helping with that is very legitimate. And you want to be able to be comfortable, of course. So then because you were saying that the wigs are custom made, when you, first kind of got this like higher quality wig, what was kind of like the design process? What were you thinking in terms of what you wanted? Because it had been over a decade since you had a full head of hair.
Mm. Yeah, it was quite scary, to be honest, because I was ordering an expensive wig online without trying it on, without knowing how it's going to look. It was going to be custom made by looking at the photos reference photos that I sent by email. And this was during the COVID time. And I found this company in England and I was like, wow, they look amazing. And I was willing to invest like 1,200 euros without knowing what I get. And this is what we do a lot. We just kind of like, let's hope it's going to be good, as per the spec, whatever we see online. And this is why we spend a lot of money just trying to find the right wig. This is why we need the service here in Finland. So that's what I did. I had a consultation online with the lady who I'm actually now collaborating with my business, which is amazing. And then I just had to trust that, okay, I'm going to get a wig that I can see on their website. And when it came through, it was just magic. Like, I can still feel it. Like, I can still feel the feeling. I was like, oh my God, like, it was so invisible. And that was the most important thing for me, that it's invisible and then plus beautiful, like with the coloring and everything that I ever wanted. And then, of course, then you start. What I did for the first year, you keep it as a good wig because, you know, you have to have a good one and then one you work in and then the gym wig. So that you don't use it too much, so that it lasts longer. So there's always these kind of compromises that you have to do, and that, oh, I would love to look like this every day, even going to the gym, but I can't because I can't afford another one of these expensive wigs to go to the gym. So there's always a bit of this kind of negotiations that you have to have with yourself, like and accept that you can't always look like you want to, which is such a shame. But this is kind of part of it. I wish one day, you know, I can choose whatever wig I want to in different occasions, but still I wouldn't wear the most expensive ones, you know, just to do sports. And one of my challenges that I do want to do, because I've been taking on a lot of challenges this autumn, is that I will go to the gym without my wig. But then again, because that would be maybe the being more comfortable when you're sweating. But still, I've been training in the gym like for 20 years. Well, 30. What is it now that I've been wearing a wig? 16 years. I've been training in my wig and it's fine. I think I would still get cold, maybe. I don't know. So maybe that's not, in a sense, like a challenge. Because if I look at myself in the training gear and then I wouldn't have a wig, it would just look a little bit odd. It would be funny, like fun, like just to do it for myself. But I don't know. It's like my arm, you know. I wouldn't go without my arm. It's like a body part to me. Yeah.
And so then when you talk about like the gym wig or these other wigs, like obviously like there is that difference in quality. Is the styling different as well? Because you said, of course, with like the real hair wigs, you can style it however, but are your wigs very similar, or is it kind of, are there very larger differences?
Quite different now. For example, back when I lived in England, I lived in England for 10 years. I had a dark brown real hair wig, which was long. And I did have two of those, so I did wear the same at the gym as well. On top, like I had a cap as well, just to keep it steady. That was quite hot, but now, because of course it comes down to financials as well. My gym wig is like a bob, and it's synthetic hair, and it's blonde with the nice little root that I found from Sweden, which is great. And that wasn't expensive at all. I think that was like €100, €150. And so when I go to the gym, I do look totally different because hair changes you so much. And I've just actually done a presentation to the association, where I now get to go and talk to doctors and healthcare professionals about my experience with alopecia, so that I can show them. And I included photos of me with black hair and this hair, and then, you know, like a short hair that you can get from Finland, which is quite old fashioned. And it just changes your personality, like totally. It's like suddenly somebody said to you that, okay, here's this blonde wig and you're good to go. There you go, that like it wouldn't matter. And then you would have to be seen as the blonde person as yourself. You know what I mean? Like it's, especially what I also realized that I'm really a visual person, that it does, it is very important to me that I can recognize myself, that I can show up with people so that I don't have to think about it, what I look like. It's the most important thing, that I can focus on the conversation and the thing that I'm doing, instead of thinking like, oh my God, like, is my wig going to stay on, or is my wig is going to show up, or I don't want it to be the conversation when, I have important things to do and people to, to have focus on other stuff. So yeah, it does. I'm just a bit of a different person when I do different things. Yeah, this is how I feel, but it's kind of, I'm okay. I've been okay with that for past few years, what I've been doing it. So yeah.
And so then do you ever have moments where, say, you were to like meet somebody at the gym, you've got the gym wig on, it's a bob, your hair is currently longer, like that, then if you were to see them elsewhere and like they didn't know that you have alopecia because, you're more vocal about your alopecia when you're being, when you're like championing it and talking and working to get the wigs in Finland, meeting with doctors, connecting with others who have alopecia. If you were to like run into someone in two different wigs and like, if somebody were to say something like they've made this connection, like, oh, your hair is so different, are you comfortable with those conversations? And then kind of explaining like, oh, well, I wear wigs.
Mm-hmm. This is such a good question, because this is something that I struggled for almost 20 years. And that was like so hard, so uncomfortable, so stressful, to always think like, okay, I've seen this person with this wig. What if I bump into her like in the shop or something? And this was stressful. And this is how we think, us alopecians who are still hiding. And now, of course, it's easier for me. But for example, like somebody from the gym saw me in the shop, and this was a couple of years ago, and I still hadn't come out as such. And I was working on it. And she was just talking to me and just like, oh, are you coming to the gym tonight? And so on. And she didn't say anything. I think especially Finnish people are so polite. They don't like in England, they are polite, but they love small talk and they love to be more curious. So it was harder in England because, people just want to make conversation. In Finland, Finnish people are quite shy and a bit more introverted, I would say, and they kind of respect your space. They wouldn't come into your space and ask questions like that. So with her, I did think about it a lot. But then, since then, like when I went to the gym and when I came out, I had to double challenge myself again. So I went into the national newspaper in last July, with my story. I got this opportunity through our association, asked if I would like to give an interview, and I was like, okay, let's just do it. And there was a photo of me without no makeup, no hair, nothing. Like I felt so naked. I even said to the reporter that I'd rather be naked than be without my wig and makeup, because it's such an intimate thing for us, and especially for me. But I did it. So I went out in July, and after that, the same lady at the gym came to me and said, oh, I read your article in the newspaper. Like, that was really good. I was like, oh, thank you. And then it's kind of like, oh, like, I love it that people know that I don't have to think about it. Like, now they can ask questions. They know, because I've been, willing to come out and be open about it. Of course, they must have seen that I'm wearing a wig, because for 3 years, I've had exactly the same haircut. So, and it's always perfect. I can even remember in England when I went to one of the classes, there's always this instructor who was like, oh, like, Anne's always got the perfect hair. Like, even if we all of us are sweating. And I was like, oh, like, don't say, don't look at my hair. Like, because, I felt uncomfortable. Of course, she didn't know. She wouldn't have said if she noticed that I was wearing a wig. Of course, I thought she did. I was like, oh, don't point out that I have this perfect hair. So yeah, it's been that's been the most. This is what we practice with my clients as well. Coaching my clients. How do we tell our story? How do we start finding words? Because usually, if somebody asks a question, we're just like, oh my god, like what I'm going to say and we usually think about the other person. We're more worried about what they're going to think, how they're going to feel. Are they going to feel sorry for us? Will they understand? And we feel so uncomfortable in that situation that if we don't practice it, how we respond, and it's our responsibility because it's our illness, it's our challenge. So it's our responsibility to have that story so that this is how I want to handle it. This is what I'm going to tell. This is who I'm going to tell. This is how I'm going to feel safe in that situation, instead of thinking like, okay, are they going to judge me, or are they going to say something funny or something. So it's so important that we kind of get that story for ourselves first, so then we are ready to open up to others.
Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense, to be able to realize the importance of embracing who you are, what you want to share, being comfortable with everything. Now, you've mentioned a couple of times, your business, helping others. I want to talk a little bit of kind of how that started. It seems like in connection with your kind of like coming out with alopecia, and what, how you've seen some progress with the people that you have helped.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, that's it's so amazing how it's all gone. I graduated as a life coach two years ago, and I was launching my business where I want to focus on taking people to the forest to heal them with the in nature, silence, solitude, and stillness, so that I can coach them, so that people can stop. I've suffered burnouts before, so I wanted them to have a safe place where they can breathe and be, and kind of starting to learn to slow down. So that was my concept, that, okay, I want to, this is the way I want to help people. Once I was studying to become a life coach. And whilst I was studying, something happened that was a game changer. I don't know if you remember Oscars gala in 2022, when Chris Rock and Will Smith slapped Chris Rock because he was joking about Jada Pinkett Smith, who has alopecia. And that just sparked something in me. I panicked. I was just crying. I was panicking like, oh my God, this is when I hadn't come out yet. I had been working a little bit like on my story, but I hadn't come out yet. And I was panicking like, everybody's talking about this and I don't know how I feel about it. I was like, oh my God, like now everybody knows about alopecia. Now they might talk to me about it. Then they might notice that I have it. I wear a wig. What is my opinion about the whole thing? And it was really stressful, like for probably a whole week. And of course, because I was in Jay Shetty certification school with lovely coaches where you get coached and you're learning to be a coach, I had help straight away with coaching, kind of to go through that turmoil that I didn't realize that it was that bad. And I hadn't realized that I'd been hiding for 18 years. It's also the work that I was doing, inner work that I had to do with myself. So all that then made me realize that, okay, this is a huge thing, that if I'm going to, have clients and I'm going to ask them to truly work on their inner self and find their peace and their internal beauty and everything. If I'm not okay, like with who I am, of course, this is a huge thing. I just hadn't had a place like to kind of sort it out and deal with it. I did 10 years ago. I had therapy, which was great in England. That was great start to, healing myself. So anyway, this happened, and I was going through it, and then I realized, okay, I want to go back into the support group that I hadn't connected with anybody. I was all alone for the first 10 years when I was ill in England. I didn't have anybody. There were no support groups or anything because, there wasn't ways of connecting. But then this was only last year, I realized, okay, I want to go to a support group and connect with these people that I really feel like I need that, because I want to start this journey of healing. And then I went to this weekend into a lovely nature retreat, and I connected with these beautiful alopecians. And I felt like, oh my God, like this is what I've been looking for all my life. Like my people, we quite similar in the sense we very, want to challenge ourselves. We're ambitious. We're curious. We want to do a lot, but then we might also struggle with our health. So that's when I realized, like, I really want to be with these people. And then from that, there was an idea that, because everybody got excited about my wig, and they hadn't seen anything like that in Finland, I said, okay, I'll organize this trip to go wig shopping in England, and the association supported us as well. So this year in March, a small group of us, I organized a trip to England where we went to this place to who I'm going to collaborate with to buy some wigs and try them on. And I was like so excited because I could see the same excitement and happiness, and like when you see yourself in the mirror, it's just like, oh my God, like I look like me again. And I could see that on all of these women's faces, and I was like, oh, this is so beautiful. And at that point, I was starting to think, like, I really want to coach these people. I realized that I've now come out of the forest where I wanted to hide all these people, like I'd been hiding because I want to protect them. And now I realized, okay, I want to coach these women who are so beautiful inside and out. And that's when I started building my program for these women, like how I've taken the steps and how I found the way to fully be seen and heard. Yeah, and this is where I'm now helping them, which is so beautiful.
And you've talked about, getting wigs in Finland, working with this partner in England. What has that process been like? And, do you see it coming to fruition soon?
Oh, such a good question. And I do get asked about this because, of course, after our trip, I posted we have this Alopecia club where there's about 2,000 members, and it's like a closed group where you can find support and be supported by others. And I've been telling them that, okay, we need to change. There's massive changes we need to do in the healthcare, just to promote the what we actually need, that we do need support when it comes to physical support, and then the mental support, as well as then everybody getting excited about these wigs because we don't have them here. So now, since March, I've been working on solutions. How are we going to do this? Like different ideas, like how we're going to do this. And of course, for me, it's so important we're going to make these wigs high quality, most affordable, of course, and so that they will be most accessible for everyone. And now at this point, where we are as of today, we're looking at the timescale, probably launch next summer. So I'm really, really excited about that. And I'm excited that I can provide the whole package, the beauty inside, so that there will be the work that you do need to, because still at the end of the day, we are bald, we have this illness, yes, we can get the external beauty from wigs and lashes and brows and everything, but we still need to do the work as well inside. So now I have this package that I can really help others to blossom or whatever, like to, just to be true to themselves and not letting. There's so many compromises we alopecians do. Like, we don't go to the gym and we don't go to we don't swim anymore, or we don't go to sauna anymore. We don't stay over in places because we don't want to tell anybody that we were wearing wig. There's so many compromises that we always think like, oh, can I go there? Do they know? Should I tell them? Well, I haven't told them. Well, we are going swimming. Well, what I'm going to do about the wig? Do I need to pretend that I'm going to wash it in the shower or something? Like, this is what we do because we are just so scared of telling people that we have a wig. And then, of course, there's the other side, of course. And I've just met this other girl who was, her alopecia started on a couple of years ago. And I think when you are older, you're more in tune with who you are. So then when this massive change happens, you kind of know yourself better than when you're in your 20s, because when you're in your 20s or even teenagers who I met, of course, everything's in such a turmoil. You still don't know yourself so well. But like this woman who I just met, she lost her hair a couple of years ago, and she was like, this was like, for me, it was very empowering to lose my hair, and it's been inspiration for me creatively, like being really creative. She's said that it was kind of just, I don't know, it was just, for her, it was totally different. So each experience is so different, so different. But the most important things are the support network, that you get supported by your closest people, and then the alopecians, because nobody else knows how this feels like when you lose your hair. And then, of course, getting the bits that you want on the outside and bits on the inside. So, yeah, it is really important.
Yeah, that support is so important. And I think it's good to acknowledge that, while you and other alopecians have, the same sort of disease, like, you're experiencing it in different ways, you're reacting in different ways, and knowing that, it is going to be different while yet similar, is an important acknowledgement for the community. Now, before I start to wrap things up, is there anything else you would like to share with the listeners today?
I think the main thing is that you are not alone. I think that is the key message I want to let everybody know, that whatever happens, like whatever stage you are in with hair loss, it's there's always support, and it's so easily available now. Follow people on Instagram, follow on social media, like people who have alopecia, who share their story openly, because that will also help you to see yourself and accept yourself, and start that process of, okay, I can do this, and I can be seen, I can be visible as well, and we need to share this, because so that we know that we are not alone. So I think that's the key message: always seek support and people who you can learn from and get supported by, who know the path that you're walking. So yeah,
Definitely. Now, at the end of all my episodes, I do ask my guests a random question that doesn't have to do with what we've been talking about. So my question for you is, are you named after anyone, or was there some sort of inspiration for your name?
oh wow, that's an amazing question. I've never been asked that before. I wouldn't know. I would have to ask my mom. If you mean like my name Anne, like being named after some. Okay, no, I would love to say that my mom was a huge Princess Anne fan. That's she would have named me after Princess Anne of England, but I don't think that is the case. But I'm seeing my mom tonight. We're baking gingerbread biscuits, so I'm gonna ask her if there's been an inspiration, so I can let you know. Good question.
All right, that brings this episode to a close. So as Anne just mentioned, if you want to go follow other people who are out and about with their alopecia, her Instagram will be in the description, along with her website, if you'd like to connect with her and her program. And if you would like to connect with the podcast, our website is in the description as always. It brings you to all of our social media. We are on Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn. It also brings you to all of our past episodes, resources, guest information, and all of that. So feel free to go check that out. And if you would like to be a guest on the podcast, my email is in the description. That is always the best way to reach out and connect with me. And if you would like to support the podcast monetarily, there is a link to do that as well. So thank you so much, Anne, for spending time with me today, and to my listeners for taking the time out of your day to hear a new story. Until next time, bye.
Bye.